Hey guys, I hope you enjoy this one. This video may be a little long, but I highly recommend you watch all of this, specifically the end where I go over a few price charts. And to be clear, this is over 160,000%. I mean, you're on your way to a 2000x. I don't want to invest in it. Even if Phantom does go, all the way up to like $5, that's awesome. That's a 14x. But I want to look for assets that potentially have that crazy 50x potential. What's up guys, Kevin Cage here with another cryptocurrency update. We have a very exciting one for you today. So first things first, on the Bitcoin price chart, this is the CME futures chart. We can see that we do in fact have a liquidity gap right here. Notice there are no wicks, there are no candle bodies. There is a gap in liquidity at this price point, approximately $34,800. Now turning the lights on, we can see that this gap historically does in fact close eventually. Now bear in mind, we do have gaps at lower price points as well, and Bitcoin continued on to rally. We also have a gap right here that was never officially closed wick to wick at about $24,650. Where do we visit first? Do we in fact close this higher gap at $34,800, or do we revisit the lows? This is still in the daily time frame, and I highly recommend doing a top-down analysis starting on the monthly, then go to the weekly, then go to the maybe 2 or 3 day, then daily, 23-hour, 8-hour, 4-hour, etc. And what you'll notice in the past is that this gap right here, you can see there's a little gap in liquidity, no candle body, no wicks. It was actually taken out to perfection right here. As you can see, wick to wick. So this was in fact filled before we went on that next retracement. And remember, gap theory does not guarantee anything. This is solely just another weapon in your arsenal to use to look for confluence. Now everybody's looking at this as well on the Bitcoin price chart on the weekly time frame. I personally use the 200 weekly moving average in tandem with some other EMAs, and as we can see, we have historically ridden this red line for support. Currently, the 200 weekly moving average is at about 22,000 per Bitcoin. Candle bodies have always obeyed it, even if we wick below, especially during March 2020. Candle bodies still obeyed that level, even though we did have liquidations further. We still got back up to that level. What is making me nervous though is we're seeing increasing levels of volume and selling, and even on the daily, we're not seeing any massive buying pressure coming through yet. Even during March 2020, we got this big fat green volume candle, and we can see the volume right there if you want to take a look. We want to look for a sure sign of a reversal. If I had a time machine, I would go back to the good old days when we had massive amounts of volume. You can see these green candles, 2013, one of the first big bull runs after the first Bitcoin halving in 2012. You can see even over here later in 2015, absolutely beautiful. And of course, this results in a massive uptrend. I don't want to see increasing levels of selling pressure, otherwise I get nervous. And so I just mapped out a bunch of trend lines, a bunch of historical support levels. Whether we're looking at this, I went on the daily and you can see support at that level. And then of course, in tandem with the confluences of those gaps I found. And then looking at the previous all-time high price for Bitcoin in 2017, just under $20,000. So when in doubt, zoom out. This is Bitcoin all the way back from 2013 in this ascending channel. Historically, it has held these levels. In altcoins, massive cup, massive crash, massive cup, massive crash, rinse and repeat. Crypto is here to stay. The question is, which cryptos will survive? And so I just wanted to note that I do have an alert at the recent low for Bitcoin, and I also marked the gap up here on the BTC futures at 34,800. We have yet to really have any substantial relief rally, and I mean, really, we've just been falling straight down since about $48,000 per Bitcoin. Looking at the HBAR price chart, I'm using charts.cointrader.pro just so I have all the price history in the historical data. When you're looking at a chart, you don't want to just go to any crypto exchange where maybe they listed HBAR 3 months ago. You want to look at the whole picture. When in doubt, zoom out. So even from the all-time high price, HBAR is down over 80%. Now, historically, what do we see after 70 to 90% crashes? After it's done bottoming out, it results in an explosion. There are assets in clear distribution, just like HBAR when it first launched and it was finding the bottom. And there are people calling these projects that are clearly in a distribution phase a scam, and they're going to have a rude awakening. Just because HBAR or Algorand or Casper dump does not mean it's a scam. Please look at their investors. You can find actual proof of concept documents. You can track everything and see who's backing them. You can see the GitHub. It's open source. Meanwhile, Casper and Hedera are speaking at Davos, the 1% of the world, and these people are calling these assets a scam because they're dumping with Bitcoin. This is distribution. Then we have this big old accumulation phase, and then we explode into expansion. Let's check this out really quick. Watch. Swing high, swing low, Fibonacci using the wick when it first launched for Hedera, as we can see right on the top. We'll go to the bottom, and we're going to drag it over, and let's just observe something. All right, so notice. I have from the high to the low. And where did we take off from? The 236. I mean, you can clearly see that we actually even backtested the 236 before really moving. As we can see, H-bar is yet to reach a full 4.236 Fibonacci extension, which is approximately $1.50. Do I believe H-bar reaches that price point and higher in the future? Yes, absolutely. Can I time it? Absolutely not. Look at their governing council. Look at the proof of concept they've done with Shinhan, a Korean bank. They're integrated with USDC. They're looking at central bank digital currency use cases. They're looking at smart city grids, IoT devices. We saw that drone company looking at Hashgraph. We are early days, guys. And right now we're back at the 236. Now looking at these price charts, we have Hedera on the left-hand side and we have Algo on the right-hand side. I have this ascending channel, and as you can see, we clearly fell out from it. And even from the 236 right here, we actually dropped another 50%, had a crazy liquidation. And H-bar actually on Binance with the US dollar pair went as low as 4 cents. Now, of course, it quickly came back up and pumped from that level after dropping another 52%. It pumped 100% quickly with that retracement. And do I believe that we eventually get back into these channels long-term for H-bar, Algo, XRP, you name it? Yes, absolutely. But it could be a bumpy ride. Notice that H-bar from the swing high, swing low, and Algo, swing high, swing low, they are relatively correlated, and they both actually hit to perfection their 1618 Fibonacci extension. Now they both crashed below the 236. We can also see that Hedera Hashgraph, or H-bar, was recently listed on DigiFinex, another crypto exchange. Meanwhile, people are calling Algo a scam, which is just laughable. They've been announced to be FIFA's official sponsor or official blockchain of FIFA. And yes, they're working with central bank digital currencies and working with the Marshall Islands as well. You start with these smaller islands and smaller countries, and those are the proof of concepts before you work with the big boys. And remember, Algo and Ripple are also at the DMI Symposium this month with the $37 trillion think tank. And it's really creepy that it has 666 quote tweets. Meanwhile, with the H-bar Foundation, we have over 470 million H-bar has been staked with Stater, and I know there's going to be other staking mechanisms on the way. We also know Blade Wallet has officially launched, which is another Web3 wallet, and you can access different dApps on Hedera. There's also been another USDC integration with Banksa, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Whether or not you believe in stablecoins right now, because I'm actually steering clear of them, I do believe USDC, of Circle, and Center will be regulated in the future and will be clear. But could it have some volatility if we have some crazy liquidations in the coming weeks? Yes, so just be careful. We can also see that we have best-in-class liquidity being provided by Woo Network, so notice for DeFi and CeFi. We also have some DEXs on the horizon. And do I believe that the XRP price chart and a variety of assets are still following some type of early Bitcoin or early Ethereum fractal? Yes. Now, I posted this the other day. We were at 40 cents. We actually went as low as 33 cents on one exchange. I'll have to check the others. And notice that Bitcoin early days, we can see we reject the 50% retracement. What do we do here? Reject with candle bodies at the 50% retracement, crash well below the 236, and we're doing this very same move. And to be clear, I am not taking any credit for this at all. I did not play it well. I'm just simply showing you this because I was looking at this 8 months ago. And I'm not trying to be a fudder, guys. I'm just showing you different fractals. Mr. Level Up has been on it with a variety of gaps as well, which I find fascinating. And the reason why is because I've seen some of his levels close to perfection with some altcoins. I can't deny it. That's an obvious confluence. And could we potentially have a big retracement before all of that happens? Yeah, absolutely. Anything's possible. I'm simply looking for this pattern to rhyme. Sometimes the retracement rejections can actually be flip-flopped, as I'll show you with Algo and Bitcoin shortly. Could the bottom also be in? Yes, absolutely. And just to be clear, I sent a bunch of USD to Caleb and Brown, and just for fun, I'm going to set some low buy limits, just in case I can catch anything that's crazy on a variety of exchanges, because they source liquidity from dozens. Now, thus far, from the high to the low, we actually crashed as low as 33 cents. Now, my concern is with Tether and USDC potentially losing their peg during these crazy liquidations. So what am I doing to try to capitalize and make the most of any type of volatility that we get in the coming months? I am not using stablecoins to set limit orders. Well, Kevin, what exchange are you doing to set limit orders with fiat like USD? I'm using this free OTC over-the-counter broker, which is linked in the top of the video description. They have tons of assets. They have H-bar available. They have XRP available. And I actually just sent a bunch of USD here because it's USD that's part of my fiat position that I wasn't planning to use, but now that we've crashed, I have to make the most of it. And if I don't catch any crazy wicks, because we did see H-bar crash all the way to 4 cents and then rapidly go back up, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to catch a really low price for XRP or H-bar. And if I don't, that's fine. I just have USD in this account. Worst case is my money just sits there and I can always put it back in my bank. But I want this as an insurance policy because if I'm able to catch any crazy wicks, well, a lot of retailers are typically over leveraged. That could be life changing. We saw what Luna did, of course, with its own story, but there's a variety of assets that had massive liquidations during this time. So Caleb & Brown is a free over-the-counter broker. This is how the big boys do it. I don't store 6 or 7 figures on crypto exchanges like Coinbase or KuCoin. No thanks. I'll put it here. The assets are in cold storage. They are secure. This is regulated and they are partnered with the liquidity providers that service Coinbase, Binance, KuCoin, you name it. There are over a dozen liquidity providers that sink into liquidity on a variety of exchanges. That way, if Coinbase is down or Uphold is down or KuCoin is down, I still have liquidity to submit my buys and sells. I'm not saying this would happen, but conspiracy time, if there were ever some type of black swan event or power outage and only certain liquidity providers were operating, I would have redundancy so that my buys and sells would still take place. I know there's been over 100 people that love this platform and use it to this day, but again, I just wanted to share. This is linked in the top of the YouTube video description. So just like we see with XRP's price chart, actually kind of following this, it is eerily similar, and we did in fact actually go as low as 33 cents. Well, now I'm looking at other assets that were in this big distribution phase. Keep in mind, Algo actually launched later at the end of kind of the beginning of the bear market. So it was born in a bear market, just like Casper, wink, wink. So I actually use the swing high before capitulation for the Bitcoin price chart. We can see their flip-flop. So in this case, Algo rejects the 50% retracement, forms a cup, rejects the 702. Here, we reject the 702 first, then we reject the 50%. But again, the same ending occurs, a crash well below the 236. Now the question is, have we already done it? Algo went to like, what, 35 cents in some crypto exchanges? Do we go lower? Well, the ball's in Bitcoin's court now. And notice even with this swing high, swing low, BTC reaches the 4.236 double top, arguably the 4618 Fibonacci extension. You guys know I've been doing videos for Algorand since 2019, 2020, all the way back here when it was first listed on Binance US. Now it's mainstream. A lot of people got in, but it did crash massively. Yes, I do believe this bad boy recovers. We can also see that the API3 price chart is creating an all-time low price. It wicked as low as $1.20. Now what am I doing? I have buys and limits ready, and if we start breaking down again in the weeks ahead, could we have a rally and go all the way to $2-3 again? Absolutely. But if I do see and my alerts trigger at these lower levels, I'm going to begin accumulating more than ever. What's my thought behind it? I want to improve my position. What if my DCA or my average price is $3? I'm down like 50%. What am I going to do about it? I'm going to DCA as much as possible. Because if I continue to DCA and try to get my average or at least all these new buys at, let's just say $1.50 even, my thought process is, because even during hard times, I'm an optimist. You have to see the good. You have to look for opportunity, even when things go bad. So if I'm buying at $1.50, even when we get back up to $6, the 50% retracement, which obviously is a key level, that is a 4x return, 300% plus initial investment, so you 4 times your money. Now, with the Casper price chart, I am by no means a Wyckoff expert specifically with different schematics for accumulation and distribution, but my best guess is looking at Casper because it was born in a bear market. This is clearly distribution, guys. This is what every asset does. Look at Glimmer, look at HBAR early days, look at Algo. Any asset that launches specifically after an ICO goes through this phase. What do we know? I'll share all the exciting things that are coming this summer as well as 10 exchange listings. You can also follow Rekt Vojak right here. This is Cliff Sarkin, COO at Casper Labs. Now last month he mentioned that there's 10 crypto exchanges coming. There is DeFi coming this summer. I'll actually show you 5+ resources. I'll show you a variety of DEXs to Polkadot and a variety of ecosystems. You want to see bridges between these ecosystems, and this is what I want to see in a layer 1. He also mentions one of the largest telecom companies in the world, Fortune 500 NDAs. We've also heard the CTO of Casper, Meta, actually explain that there's all kinds of new use cases, such as supply chain tracking, different types of healthcare use cases, etc. They're speaking at Davos with Hedera, backed by Arrington Capital as well. And you can see me trolling, when are the 10 exchange listings coming for Casper? Now, I'm by no means a Wyckoff accumulation expert, but this is my best guess, that this was the distribution phase. As you can see, we have the automatic rally shortly after. We had the green candle necessary to validate that. And now this is where I get confused. Now, are we reading this as this high right here, and that means that we're right there? Or are we actually further along and this is our spring, baby, and we're ready to get out of this accumulation phase or start showing signs of support and then go into expansion? Your guess is as good as mine. As we know, Luna from its high was stuck at this level for over 500 days. 500 days would take us to about the end of September. No, I don't want to wait, and man, DAG is up 50%. Okay, that's the bounce I want to see. Oh, and by the way, DAG Constellation is speaking with Real Vision Finance. That is going to be some great publicity. Basically, I'm looking at this high. Is it this high, or are we further along and we're actually at our spring? Are we here or are we here? And what's my strategy? If we start breaking down and create an all-time low below the support of 3 cents even, I'm going heavy. And that's where I'm going to try to accumulate millions of Casper. My API3 bag and my Casper bag are down. Also wanted to share my findings in Discord, so I actually tracked the top 15 Casper wallets on casperstats.io. So starting on May 7th, I actually did it every day and was observing the change between the top 15 Casper wallets and keeping track of them. And overall, the total Casper from May 7th to May 14th, which is today, 1 week later, has decreased by 26 million Casper. Now, in the scheme of things, this is not that much. I'm not concerned. This is actually less than $1 million, whereas there's other large projects that are down multiple billions. And keep in mind, 1,000 million is a billion, so this is a drop in the bucket. I was trying to actually gauge if there was going to be a clear distribution where the big wallets are selling, or if it was an accumulation phase where smart money is accumulating, but I need to gather more data. I actually shared this on Twitter for anybody curious. Now, this does not mean that the top 15 wallets are actually dumping Casper. This could mean they're distributing it to other wallets in the ecosystem. Hopefully, I didn't create any FUD on Twitter. I'm just saying this was less than $1 million. That is nothing. That is a drop in the bucket. I was hoping to be able to kind of discern between an accumulation or distribution phase. As we've seen, the top 100 Bitcoin wallets are accumulating and buying a bunch of BTC like always. Nothing has changed. I'm going to keep accumulating, not financial advice. So really quick right here, big shout out and thank you to the wonderful Casper community, including Gas and a variety of other people on Twitter, sending me a bunch of resources. I also did my personal research to check some of these out. So I'm going to show you a variety of links and resources that you can bookmark. This is what building looks like. First off, we have 1, a cross-chain DEX that is bridging right to the Polkadot ecosystem. 2, we also have DeFi being built with bridges with the Ethereum network, including other layer 1s, Avalanche, Algorand, we have Moonriver, and Matic or Polygon. And you can look at their investors, look at the connections, go to their LinkedIn. You can go on Crunchbase. I highly recommend digging deep. Next up, we have another cross-chain bridge with Allbridge or allbridge.io. Now, Casper's on the way here. We already have the XRP Ledger, Solana, AVAX, Binance Coin, I should just say BNB now, Matic, and Phantom. Also an NFT marketplace and a decentralized exchange, Friendly Markets. And anybody that holds a Casper Punk NFT, I do believe they're going to be highly valuable in the future. And I do know that they are coming with utility. I'm hoping it's some type of staking APY bonus. We also have DeFi swaps with Wise Token. By the way, they already have over $172 million total value locked. You can go right on their website. We also have Casper Swap, another DeFi ecosystem, and the Swapry, a Casper DEX that is almost ready. And last but not least, we also have Skybridge, another DEX that is actually integrated with Binance Smart Chain or BSC, and this is already live. I highly recommend looking at some of these music NFT platforms because I'm actually forgetting a few. Look at tracking these actual whiskey barrels. There is utility on this chain already. And as even Cliff Sarkin says in his video, and do your research and look at what a fundamentally strong layer 1 looks like. I'm telling you, even Phantom, early days, how many people were actually buying it when it was 1 cent? Very few, half a cent. And what did Phantom do? Right here was launched, nobody knew about it. Then they started building all these DeFi applications and bridges, which Casper is doing now. And what happened from its all-time low price? Where did Phantom go? It pumped over 100,000%, just like Luna. Now, no offense, I wish Phantom well, I wish, any project well. I do not buy anything that has done over a 200x in the past 2 years. I hold plenty of XTC, I hold plenty of QNT. I'm looking at assets that are as low as possible. Hence, API3 and Casper. So I'm wishing those other projects well. I think they're going to be great long term, but I just want to look for the maximum amount of ROI. Kevin, what if you're wrong and utility comes to some of those assets way sooner? Oh well, I'm going to be wrong. I already have exposure. I want to play both sides. And remember, I showed you the same thing with Luna to show you the power of the Fibonacci. Now, friendly reminder, somebody thought I was shilling Luna. When I share a chart online, I'm showing you the confluence. I've said in probably 20 videos since 2020. So I really only did a couple videos on Luna in 2020 when I was buying it at 20 to 25 cents. Ever since then, I talked about, oh, I missed it, I sold it, I'm an idiot, and I'm not buying back. I never once said buy Luna. I would use it in comparison to show you the impulse levels of the top fibs. So watch, from the high of Phantom to the low, we're going to drag it over. And did we reach our top fibs? As we can see, swing high, swing low. What did we do? Unbelievable. This is exactly what Luna did. Topping out at the 89 fib. Kevin, are you saying that Casper goes all the way up to double, triple digits? No, not necessarily. But I'm looking at impulse levels, whether it's back up to the 702 or the 4.236. Yes, 10x's and 50x's are still likely long term, especially from today's price. So I just want to emphasize, we hit the 89 fib, double top. You can't make that up. Now we're crashing. We actually went back to the 8 Fibonacci. I don't want to buy Phantom. Now I know that I'm down in Casper, but I'm going to ride it out because I've witnessed this volatility below the 236, even from the 236. Look at this. Phantom crashed 80% before pumping over 100,000%. And to be clear, this is over 160,000%. I mean, you're on your way to a 2000x. I don't want to invest in it. Even if Phantom does go, all the way up to like $5, that's awesome. That's a 14x. But I want to look for assets that potentially have that crazy 50x potential. And as you can see from the all-time low to the 4.236, I mean, even to the 3618, that is a 70x return. That's what I'm looking for. I rode QNT for over 100x, and yes, it took a long time. I had my doubts because I was just in this phase forever. I almost gave up. Don't believe me with Luna? Let's show you just once more for anybody new to the channel. We can do a Fibonacci, and I believe I just go right there on the swing high to the low, and let's drag it over. And did we reach the 89 fib? So again, just to show you, using the high right there, using the low right there, where did we go? Did we reach that 89 fib? Yes, we did. Now, can we go way higher? Has Ethereum and Bitcoin on the macro chart gone way above these 89 fib extensions since their first swing highs? Absolutely. And this is just the ratio. You can add these numbers on top of one another. You can always just edit these, and you can change these Fibonacci extensions. But obviously, make sure they're actually the sequence. 8 plus 21 is 34, 21 plus 34 is 55, etc. So I just want to look at new and emerging assets. So let's do this with XRP really quick. From the high of the previous all-time high price in 2013, how high have we gotten thus far? And I'm going to drag it all the way over. So we're using that high to that low. So far, we have reached a 55 Fibonacci extension. Yes, we have plenty of upside in the years ahead. So once again, on the XRP price chart on charts.cointrader.pro, so that we can get all of the historical data, we can see from the high to the low, we have in fact reached all the way up to the 55 Fibonacci extension, just over $3 to perfection. Then what happened? The next market top that we had last year hit to perfection, the 34 fib, just under $2. What are the odds of that right there and there? So I'm not saying that the Fibonacci guarantees price. It's just another confluence, another tool in my arsenal to gauge potential targets. And it really is, to me, almost like certain wicks and gaps. It's almost like a magnet for price action. So do this with a variety of assets, and let's go through a few more. Okay, what about Ethereum? Swing high, swing low in 2016. Did we reach the 89? Yes. And what happened? It crashed massively from this level. After topping out. It's just far too risky. It crashed 93, almost 94% after reaching that 89 fib extension. Then what happens? A bear market, and we create another all-time high price. Now that we drag it over and we are above fibs, how can we target that next level? How can we kind of gauge these levels or impulses? Well, shout out to Blockchain Backer for this. What we'll do is we'll actually use the 236 Fibonacci retracement. Notice 236 is now the swing high. That's essentially the same as me just adding new extensions that are higher than 89. We can kind of gauge where we're at. You can see that 34 is a key level. And now we can see that market top is at the 21 instead of the 89. Notice it just went to a different fib extension because it's all one ratio. This is just math. You can see wicks, obeying this level perfectly. Just super interesting. And last but not least, let's do Bitcoin. So all we did is swing high from 2013 to the low. Where did we go? Almost reached the 21, formed another cup, back test this level, the 4.236. And look at this, 1, 2, 3, triple bottom on the 34 Fibonacci extension. But then we crashed. And actually, let's draw a new fib so I get the 55 because I just added that. So let's do that again. From the high to the low, drag it over. We have yet to reach that 89 Fibonacci extension, which is approximately $89,000 per BTC. But you can see that we have a key level of support, and now it's turned into resistance at the 34 Fibonacci extension. And then please consider what I showed you in the beginning of this video with that Bitcoin ascending channel, also the 200 moving average on the weekly, plus the Bitcoin futures gap. You can see right here, came back tested that level to 4.236, and boom. So remember guys, this is crypto. We typically see assets crash, look, 85%. What happens after that? On a multi-year time frame, we rally over 10,000%. After that, Bitcoin crashes another 85%. And then what happens after that? Eventually we pump another 10 or 20x from those prices. And in case you have not seen last video on my channel where I already discussed the Bitcoin cycle, just to reemphasize, each Bitcoin cycle from the trough to the peak gets longer than the previous one. So each cycle is getting extended. And notice that we had, 10,000+% gains here. And then now here it's, 1,000 to 2,000% gains. They're getting smaller. So the returns are getting diminished every single cycle. So I just wanted to emphasize that. And again, I believe that the returns are going to be in the altcoin market. Could you, triple your money Bitcoin at 30K to 90K? Yes. But is it a lot easier to get a 3x in an altcoin? Yes. When in doubt, zoom out. No, I don't really care about holding Bitcoin. Sorry to anybody that's really heavy into it. I get the, narrative for store value, but I just believe that I'm going to make much higher wealth, and that's how I've made my money thus far in the altcoin market. Oh man, that was a really long video, so I'm actually going to trim this up. I'll cover a lot of XRP information in the next video, but I wanted to finish up showing a few seconds of me flying through Puerto Rico on a helicopter this morning. You can see just going over the beautiful beaches. I did see, NFT.com's office out here in Puerto Rico, and I should probably get an iPhone because these Android videos, as soon as I upload it to social media, it gets super blurry. But no, PR is absolutely gorgeous. So, all right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. Be sure to like and sub. You can find those links in the video description. And until next time.